up, what up, what up? What's up, guys? So I feel like today, as far as like a streaming milestone goes, I feel like today is the first time I've streamed and it feels like everything is working the way it should. I am so excited to do this stream today. Um, I got like I was spending like I would have been on earlier, but I literally have just spent the time setting this up, and it looks so good now. I got the camera configured with a tighter with better color correction. I got the picture in picture. Everything looks pretty solid. So we're going to continue on with what we were doing yesterday. And I was basically working for, I think I worked for almost 13 hours straight on this project. And I got to roughly like 15 minutes, I'd say. Yeah, I'd say about 15 minutes. We had to try to trim up the sermon a bit, the ceremony, because we can't have the ceremony be too long. But I'm gonna also have Half in a Bag playing in the corner just so I can have some form of entertainment. But let's get this party started. Today is hump day for me, and I really have to get some income generating. So let's revisit our work here. I got everything ready too. I even made the coffee before I sat down. Do I really got 8 viewers on right now? It says 8 viewers on my Streamlabs, but it says only 1 on my counter. If there are 8 viewers in the chat, welcome to the stream. It's good to see you guys. Good to have you. Very chill environment. Let me know how your day's going. I'm a very busy guy too, so like I try to like do all this business stuff on the side while I like get to meet new people. I think Twitch is honestly one of the best things ever as far as like networking with other individuals. It's not just a place for gamers, it's a place for just getting to know the world. What are the odds? You know, it's nice. I think it's nice motivation. Honestly, I just quit my full-time job recently because there was a sewage backup. Make a long story short, I didn't feel like sticking around because I didn't care about, you know, people's health and safety at that restaurant. But I said, you know what? Maybe I should just go full throttle on the Twitch thing, and for 3 days straight now, I've been editing consistently. It's been a problem for me these past few months, just trying to find a time to sit down and edit, and now I feel completely motivated. I'm waking up early, my depression is like fading away, and I'm getting so much work done. It feels great. Hope your wedding video turns out pretty good too. Honestly, you have to show me some of your work. This is my favorite shot in this entire video so far. The one thing I love about filming weddings is it gives you consistent practice on your filmmaking. Like, it helps you refine your angles and just go out and do it. Like, not every day you can just go and film something. And there's so much emotion that's attached to filmmaking a wedding that everything seems so genuine. Like, you try to film your own short films and whatnot, but then you're trying to deal with, like, actors overcompensating or, you know, working with false emotion. The beautiful thing about a wedding is all the emotion is real. The one thing I love about editing a wedding, though, is not everything, like especially audio, not all the audio can line up perfectly with how you envision the project to be. So you have to kind of make up where the audio is without it being glaringly obvious. And right here, it doesn't seem like it's obvious, but the audio is definitely not matching what really happened. But that's fine, because the video is supposed to be a highlight. It's supposed to be a point in these people's lives that they're going to truly remember. And, you know, not everything has to be true to life. It just has to be a good representation. There's me with my long hair. I do all this by myself, by the way. That's awesome, man. I've been doing weddings since I was 18, and at first I was absolutely terrified. Absolutely terrified. I can go back and show you my first wedding video. But I finished it. I got $400 out of it. I finished it, and the bride and groom say they go back to that thing every single year and watch it. I look back, man, I'm like, damn, that thing is dated. But to them, to your clients, it means the world. That's all that matters. You put your heart and soul into it, and then everything else falls in line. I kind of can relate to George Lucas now, because George Lucas, he'll go back in time and think, man, this is mediocre. This looks terrible. But people during the time frame, during the 70s and the 80s, they look back at the original trilogy of Star Wars and they're like, that was a masterpiece. What are you talking about? But George Lucas will consistently be against that. And it's a perfectionist mentality. I completely understand. But sometimes we have to keep pushing forward to the new thing rather than trying to revisit the past.
We have come to this house of God, and the church shares your guys' joy and warmly welcomes you together with so many families, so many
Man,
friends.
18. Was I 18 when I? No, no. I started my first wedding video probably when I was 17. Yeah, it was October of. I mean, I could have been 18, but I was like 17, 18 when I first started. And now I'm 31. Feels like time just flies by. Yeah, I'm 31 now. A lot of people probably look at me and they're, you just hit 30? Welcome to the club. And like 30 felt like it flew by. Like I look back at 2024 and I'm like, where did it go? And you know where it went? It went to a company that I shouldn't have worked with to begin with. I should have just focused completely on this. But the problem doing this is I need to figure out the income. I need to figure out the income part. But I have a little bit of time. I will work on getting these video projects done. What's up, Shane? What's up? I have a good feeling about today's stream, Shane. I have a really good feeling. Like I spent like a good hour or so just making sure that I refined the stream a little bit. And I think I got things going. Like I got this thing set up. I organized my Streamlabs. I woke up, took a shower, got some food in my belly. I feel on top of the world today. And I think it's just because I worked all day yesterday on this. Yeah, dude, it's such a great feeling. I feel like you bought Dead Space the remake? That's awesome. Dude, I love Dead Space. I was playing it last night. It was so good. Or it's so good. I'm on my. It's called New Game Plus, and it's so funny. Like the first playthrough, I was terrified. I was walking around the corridor so slowly, and now all my weapons are upgraded in New Game Plus. So I'm just running around smoking all these stupid ass aliens. Welcome to the stream, everyone. We got quite a crowd going on today. The counter is going up pretty nicely. How many cameras do I shoot with? Well, it depends on what I'm doing. So I bring my full arsenal, and I just added another camera to my list. So I have two Blackmagic design cameras. One is 6K, one is 4K. I got a 28 millimeter and a 24 to 70 millimeter that I primarily use. Actually, no, I don't use my 28 for I use my 50, I think. Well, maybe I do use my 28. It's either my 50 millimeter. I think I use my 50 millimeter to get a little bit more, what do you call that? More of an intimate kind of feel. And I also have, I think it's a 10 millimeter fisheye lens. I literally bring the whole arsenal, so it doesn't really matter. But I also have a GoPro for time lapses. It's a Hero 5, I think, black. I just bought a T7, not a T7i. Because, like we were talking about yesterday, Shane, I don't need to be using my cameras for vlogging or anything. Like, well, not my not my Canon. I just use it for photography reasons. But I'm not doing photography while I'm filming. I could probably hire someone to do that, but I mainly just do the filmmaking.
And it begins with the wedding that we actually heard about in the first reading in the book of Genesis. So I want to start just by talking about the book of Genesis. The first book of the Bible is going to be a really long moment. The first book of
Dude, so far this seems pretty good. Like, when you're in the moment,
the Bible, what's God doing?
you went on to bid that T8I and they closed the bidding early and closed that. Aw, man.
Anybody in your capital?
Why'd they close it early?
He creates. Two people raise their hand. That's all.
I'd keep.
God creates.
Well, I think the one thing about that T8I post, I don't know if it was the same thing, but the guy was a little shady. He was asking people to message him first. That's never like a good idea.
You guys chose Genesis. This isn't an ending. This is very much a beginning. It's an ending,
The one thing I need to do better
and it begins.
when it comes to filming weddings is capturing the audio better. Like figuring out how it's going to be structured. Are they going to have microphones set up? Is there going to be a soundboard I could hook into?
Facing each other. But this isn't about you two gazing into each other's eyes. This is
Oh, okay. Okay. Only true images. That's your stuff, huh?
because you're on a mission to share the divine love you've been given.
Let's check this out.
I'm trying to like a fully on coffee right before I got
Oh man, that looks great.
tired. In a certain like I just came from being a missionary. You're missionaries.
That looks so fun.
And you're missionaries.
I need to get my website up and running a little better.
You go shoulder to shoulder. God creates in the book of Genesis. Okay, what's He create? God,
Looks like you have a gimbal too. Are you using a DJI?
listen, He creates everything.
Wow, you got so much good detail.
YouTube version of college. So I didn't grow up in youth group and that kind of thing. I had a YouTube. I grew up thinking God was boring and burdensome, right? But
Columbus, you're not too far. You're not too far at all. I'm here in Pittsburgh by the way, Rome. So that's pretty good, man. That's awesome.
we look at the Rocky Mountains. We look at there's nothing more interesting than
You got this set up very nicely. Did someone
beautiful and glorious.
do the website for you or did you do it all yourself?
Amen. How much more the Creator? It's like if there's a painting, there's a painter. If there's a sculpture, there's a sculptor. And if there's creation, then there's a creator. And if His Creator is so extraordinary, how much greater is the one who created?
This is one thing I like doing is if I meet new people, I try to get like some general information. So that way if you visit next, I can just pull you up and be like, oh, okay. Only true images. Wedding videography. And I'll save this note. Twitch contacts. There you go. Dude, I'm just lazy. Like, my website, I've had my website for, I just started the third year, but I started it, but I don't know. I feel like I just don't have, well, now I have all the time in the world to work on it. Once I get caught up on all these projects, I have like 10 projects. It does lead to more bookings. Yeah, I think that's a good analysis, honestly. Like there's a lot going on on your webpage. It looks very eye appealing though, which is awesome. But you can still make it more efficient by streamlining, making it more direct, as you said. And I think it would definitely refine that website 100%. I mean, honestly, I think you're on the right track. Like I said, you got the marketing down very well. You got the eye appeal. Font is consistent. The colors look great. I love the white and gold palette you got going on. White, gold, black. Majestic. I love the majestic vibe going on. It's like regal, you know. Um,
God put Abraham in a doorway.
yeah, there's not much I can critique on it. If you want to, like, I love that initial photo that you have with the couple just starting out. That's pretty that that's a great segue to your website. It's immediate. It's showing, hey, this is what we're about, and it gets the point across very well. Mine will be a little different because my business encapsulates not just wedding videography. I want to do short films, probably music videos. Probably thinking of doing. I have some commercials under my belt. The wedding videos though are the bread and butter, no doubt. But I think you're on a good track. You know, just go with your instincts. I believe, like if you got this going, I believe you're on the right track to doing great things. Honestly, I think you already are doing great things. I'm just looking at, that slideshow you got. It looks so fun. I love that.
When God was creating Carson, he was thinking of
You
Terrence.
got drones going on.
When God was creating Terrence,
Damn, man, good stuff.
like God was not surprised when you guys met in the hallway of worship.
I like the meet the team too.
That is Carson to Adam.
Well, last year I did, I think, 7 or 8. This year I'm probably going to see a drop because I've been, that year was a lot. That was the first year I kind of got my foot wet with my sole proprietorship. There's a lot of, and this is the thing, like, you got a team. I don't got a team. I'm doing this all by myself. I should invest in getting more people interested. Yeah, you're using a DJI. I see that. Yeah, you're using. I don't know if that's a Ronin 2 or a Ronin 3, but it looks like it's a Ronin. It's definitely a Ronin. I love that. You got almost the same exact setup as me, except what's your camera? I don't know if that's Fujifilm or what. I can't tell.
What Terry was thinking in his heart, even if it wasn't here, when he saw Carson beginning to walk down that aisle was this. Now
I'm
in
checking it out.
life is
I'm
full.
I'm doing some deep diving analysis. I don't want to say it's a red. I could be wrong. It could be a red, but I don't think it's a red. Dude, it's so great that you have. It's so great that you have friends that are willing to help you out. My friends, like, not all of them, but my friends always like I have the type of friends that have that linear type of mind. And I don't want to bash my friends, but because what they're doing, they're successful at, but that they're successful at it because of their personality type. My personality type, I demand, creativity. These guys demand, what's the way of putting it? Like, just go out and do it kind of work. Don't think, just do. And I definitely put a lot more thought into my work, and that's why it kind of holds me back a bit. But I believe success comes in different facets. It comes in different forms. So you just have to take advantage of what you're good at. And I feel like I've been suppressing what I've been good at because I've been, I don't know if the word is guilt trip or pressured. I'm pressured to do stuff that I don't want to do just because for the sake of getting by. And people don't understand, like, there's an acronym I learned when it comes to having a job versus a career or versus pursuing something you love. And job stands for actually just getting just over broke, from what I remember. And it's so true because you work for these companies, like the restaurant I was at, and you're never going anywhere with it. It's a dead end job. You're giving someone else all this time and energy, and you're easily thrown away on a bad week, and it's not even your fault. Um, I realized this probably last year or the year before. I got laid off from the job before this, and I said that was the catalyst to actually start my business. This is the moment now with the most recent job is the moment that I get my butt in gear. So I think it's a great metamorphosis, and it's a great realization that we have to be in charge of our destiny, 100%. We can't just sit idly by. I'm 31, you're 30, and just think in not even 9 years we're going to be 40, and just think, where did the last 10 years go in our 20s? It feels like it absolutely just fizzled away. It just came and went. Every day should be super important to your life. Do not let someone else take advantage of your life, guys, because when you do that, you're not really living your life. You're living your life through at the what's the word? I want to say at the expense. I don't know if that's the right phrase, but you're living life on a leash. That's a better way I can put it. Be free. Be free with your creativity. Be free with what you want to do. Because the moment you let someone else control your life, it's no longer your whole life. How many of you go to work, and then after work you just don't want to do anything because you're so exhausted? Every single day I came to work and I felt just tired and exhausted. Didn't want to do anything. I didn't have any time to focus on this, and it was awful. It was so awful. And now I'm so backed up on projects because of that. But now I'm turning a bad thing into a beautiful thing by just doing it. I'm not thinking. I woke up on Monday. I actually what did I do? On Sunday night I said I can't think of my business as an option. I have to look at my business as a necessity. It's not I'm going to wake up sometimes and do this. I'm going to wake up every single day, and this is going to be my life. This is going to be my thing. And until if you're a new business owner, this is just generally speaking, if you're a creative that wants to get out there and really set yourself apart, you will not get too far unless you realize that if you want to make or generate income out of this, you have to make this your priority. Great power comes great responsibility. Uncle Ben, man. I love that. I just simply can't live life anymore under the management of people who think they know what they're doing, but they truly don't. If you believe in your skills, if you're truly talented and you are good at what you do, then don't let someone else tell you you aren't worth more. You aren't just as worthy, is a good way of putting it. Know your worth and enterprise. Expand on it. Keep learning. Keep building. And I promise, no matter who you are, that is going to drive better and definitely rewarding results. Okay. So I was at the sermon. Let me just see where we're at here. Sony, nice. Yeah, I'm a big Black Magic guy. Sony's are great too, like especially those A7s. Damn. I used my first camera was, well, I still have it. It's a Sony Handycam. It was it was an HD 1080i Handycam, and it was I think it was like 2010 or 11 when I got it. It felt so wild. Like I could go back and show you a video I made, but the quality of that camera, it was a camcorder. The quality of that camcorder trumped so much of the camera technology of that time frame. Like, and you could go back to 2010 and before, and you'll notice like a lot of things are in like 480p, or they're in 4:3 aspect ratio. My camera did like 16:9, and it was interlaced, but it was still good. It's just crazy that like I go back in time and I look at my footage and I'm like, wow, this doesn't look that bad, to say the least. I invested in some good quality stuff. I just wish whenever I was a kid, I understood what DSLRs were really about, because I probably would have invested in a DSLR at that age rather than buying a $1,000 camcorder that went obsolete after a few years. Like you can't change the lens, the sensor just like, now I know the camera bodies aren't as important as the lenses. So now I'm thinking in that mode of thought now. Granted, camera sensors are important. Not to say they aren't important, but the lenses are the foundation of quality. I hope that's pretty agreeable. Like I could go out there and buy a 5,000. Like I was talking to Shane about this. I could go out there and buy a $5,000 red camera. Okay, and at the end of the day, if I don't have the lenses, if I don't have the skill set for that, it basic, or even the terms to use it, like if it just wouldn't make sense to buy a camera body that expensive and just film whatever. Like a lot of people don't think in smaller terms. Like if you want to start out in this business, start small, work your way up. Like you don't need a red camera body out the get-go. The best thing you can do is like get a small camera body, not like something too shitty, not like a $50 web camera. Just focus on what you can afford now and then build on top of what you're currently doing. Yeah, it's all budget based. That's the greatest way to put it.
So he creates Adam, and things are going good. Like, before you met her, life was pretty good. You were like six, you know?
So I'm just basically watching the sermon now, and we're just going to see if we could trim some of the fat.
Like, wonderful guy, things are going well. And Adam, before Eve, like, it was good. He was in the garden. Like,
And today I'm only going to be streaming till like 5:30. I have the Fire Academy later tonight, but I'm hoping I could get a little bit of work done on this.
he's a great teacher. He looks at everything he creates. He says, it's good, it's good, it's good, it's good, it's good. And then when he notices that Adam's alone, he says, it's not good. And so he says this, does this amazing thing. He wants Adam to name the animals. And what God is showing Adam is nothing but another person is going to be suitable. So Adam names all the animals. I always kind of laugh at Adam's like, bro, dog. So he names all the animals and he finds that none of them is suitable partner. And then God does this amazing thing.
All right, I need to go back and just maybe, I don't know if I want to hook that up. I have a speed editor. How much longer for Fire Academy? I have till May, like the middle of May. I got my itinerary. Um, yeah, May 11th is whenever I do my interior fire attack training. That's gonna be 8 hours long. Damn. And after that, I do some other certificates for Firefighter 1. That basically is just telling you or the state that you're an official firefighter. You could start firefighting whenever after the academy. Um, but Firefighter 1 just kind of codifies that. I'm hoping I can do like search and rescue too. I want to probably get a cert for that. I would like to probably get into Firefighter 2, which is like commanding and leading a leading a squad or a battalion. But one step at a time. The firefighting, I'm doing it like that's my community service. That's my giving back. I sacrifice a lot of time to the fire department, but I think it's a necessary sacrifice because my fire department, we have guys that are 60, 70, 80 years old. We're growing to a pretty healthy point right now with new members. But before that, it was just those guys. So imagine your house is on fire and you have these guys that aren't I mean not to say they aren't passionate. They're an excellent group of guys, but they just don't have all the physical strengths that they used to or the physical faculties that they used to. I think that's the greatest way of putting it. Than someone who's in their 20s or 30s, even their 40s. So I just believe we need more people who can set aside a little bit of their time, even if it's like just for a few hours. Like it doesn't have to be like me where I'm down there like literally every fire call. It could be 4 o'clock in the morning. I'll be at that fire call because, dude, it's crazy. It's a whole different world. There was this one call that I went to last month. It was my first major crash, and this guy was going 110 miles an hour down this 40-mile-an-hour road. It's a big road. It's like a major route. But he was going 110 miles an hour. This other guy was sitting in his car. It was an Uber driver. He was just at a red light, just minding his own business. The guy going 110 couldn't stop, hits the guy who's at the red light, kills that Uber driver instantly. And then the guy who was speeding spins out of control, crashes into like a tire mechanic shop, and both of them were dead on arrival. There was actually two people in the back seat of that of the speeder's car, and it was truly horrifying. We could play all the video games in the world. We can talk about war. We could talk about Ukraine. We could talk about terrible things happening in the world. But until you actually see that stuff, it's something else. It's something I would describe as lucid. You begin to accept that these things happen. They just don't happen on a piece of paper or on a video. This is our reality. And I want to be the person who looks at that reality and doesn't run away from it. I want to be the person that jumps into it and does whatever I can to make sure whoever may be hurt or whoever may be in danger, I can at least be there to support at some capacity. And I think we need more people like that. It takes a certain amount of courage, for sure, but I don't think there's anything I don't think there's anything more satisfying in the world for your community than jumping into action like that. Oh man, I'm getting like really emotional just thinking about that. But I swore myself in November. It's what, March now. And all I will say is I do not regret a thing. There are some politics at the fire station. You know, you want to try to stay away from certain people who have their beliefs, certain people have their own opinions. But at the end of the day, the mission is clear. You're there to serve your community and protect people from getting hurt. And in some way, I feel like I've done at least a minutia of work to help people um, get by those terrible things. And it's also cool knowing that there's a lot more to the fire department than what people think there is. Like, it's not just putting out fires, and it's not just you know doing gun bashes. A lot of people think we just do gun shows at the fire hall. Now those things will happen at your fire department, but there's a lot of other things that happen. A lot of fire prevention, going out and teaching people and kids how to actually stop fires. There's other programs and charities that we work with. Like we did a charity for a burn unit here in Pittsburgh, and we raised like probably $10,000. I remember standing in the middle of kind of like in the middle of a highway, and just I had this big firefighter boot, and I'm just walking through. It's crazy how you have a boot and you're dressed up as a firefighter. How many people will just put money in that boot? I'm like, man, I wish I could just pocket this. I wish. I will definitely say I'm not going to take that money. But man, these people just throw all, like, it's crazy how much money is on a highway, is all I'm going to say. You had people who had like $100 bills in their pocket. They just threw it right in the boot. But that's great because it's all going to something greater. And we went into that burn unit. We didn't really talk to any of the patients. We really just went in there to understand what burn unit victims go through. It's sad. It really is sad. But what's awesome is the advancements in the medical field, where if you do get burned pretty badly, the things that weren't available to us 10 years ago are available now, and they make treatment so much better for people who go through those kind of situations. So God bless them, seriously. Damn, I just went on a tangent. But that's okay, because it just like demonstrates how I just have such a strong passion for that. And even before I was an official firefighter, I had like this moment of realization. There was this major crash. Thanks for the follow, by the way, Rome. There was this realization that, at any second we could be gone. Any second. I was on this highway driving to work, or actually going to a doctor's appointment. And behind me, I heard this massive explosion. It was huge. It was like such a loud boom. I'm like, what the hell was that? So it was like about 20 cars back, but this ambulance was going like 80 miles an hour around this tractor trailer. And she didn't notice that there was a traffic jam that we were in over the hill. So she zooms past this tractor trailer, isn't able to stop, and she careens into like 6 different cars. It was it was crazy. I think one person died as a result of that. But it was absolute carnage. And mind you, I'm not a firefighter at this point. I had a safety, like I had a fluorescent vest in the back seat of my car. I always make safety a number one priority. Like no matter what. If my business grows and I have employees, safety is number one. I don't care if it's just a one-time thing. You have to make sure you're safe, because if you aren't, and for some weird reason that oddball situation comes up, you get hit by a car, you don't have your seatbelt on, you're done. You're done. You just lost you lost your life all because of one thing. But to go back to that story, I ran, like all these people are driving away. I ran to that scene. I was calling 911 at the same time, and I'm not a firefighter, but I'm doing whatever I can to help these people who are in their cars. They're trapped in their cars. No one else called 911. I'm the first person who called 911. I'm sure someone would have called 911 like right away, but everybody was just like kind of in a daze. Like I managed to get through that, and seeing that carnage again, it just made me realize something as mundane as driving to work or being on a highway. You could just be minding your own business, and then you're toast the next second. And it all goes full circle with what I do now. It's like, make sure you live your life to your fullest potential every single day. It's I think it's the most important lesson that you can ever learn in life. And I don't know, maybe it's ingrained in my DNA to do that kind of thing for people. But yeah, I don't regret it whatsoever. And I think I will completely make this like a permanent foundation in my life. I mean, what could you learn from the fire department that would make you think this was a bad idea? Hardly anything. Everything that you learn is useful, you know?
The grades, Adam, and things are going good. Like, before you met her, apparently life was pretty good. You were like 6, you know?
Cancer. Absolutely. People don't realize that when you go into a fire, how many carcinogens you're exposed to. That's why they make decontamination such a strong point. As soon as you get out of that fire, you have to like start the decon process. You get lung cancer, you can get like your groin, you can get testicular cancer. I think that's something people don't realize. And it's not even the cancer that's too much of a concern either when it comes to actually fighting a fire. Imagine it's July, it's like 100 degrees out. You have this full, you have your bunker suit on, your bunker gear, and you're in that thing. Your blood, your pulse is increasing. You're on limited oxygen. You're on limited time, and at any moment, you could just pass out from heat exhaustion in the middle of a burning fire. And when that happens, again, your life is in complete danger. That's why it's so important to, as a firefighter, to take note of that. If it seems like it's too much for you, do not take the risk. Get out immediately. Get yourself prepared a little bit better, and then go in. But don't just think with that gung ho mentality. I need to save someone. I need to save someone. You have to think things through. It requires a little bit of. It requires a high, like obviously we want to have a high regard for others, but you also have to have a high regard for your own safety, because if you don't, then you're not only putting yourself at risk, you're putting others at risk who have to save your life. It's just a domino effect at that point. All right, let me see here. I feel like I just can talk. I could just talk and talk and talk. Like, I don't know how I do that. I can't wait till I color grade this too. Because these shots seem like a little yellow. I'm gonna try to kind of balance it out. Like compared to this shot, I think this shot with the other camera is more accurate to what it actually looked like. But that's why, you know, obviously you want to make sure your white balance is all correct as soon as you get there. You can't just go there with your white balance all out of whack.
Good afternoon. It's okay. I know we're in church, but it's all right. We're still human beings. So this is just a glorious occasion, obviously, for both of you. But the fact that you have a full church, so many people here loving and supporting you, is just so glorious. You guys know this. You're not just passive observers, but when you attend a wedding, you're witnesses to what God is going to do to make the two of them who came in here as individuals one.
I know where I'm getting the 10 viewers from. So I got 4 people on Twitch right now. I got like 6 people on... I'm multi-platforming right now, so I just started doing this. But I got people on X, I got people on YouTube watching at the same time. So for people who are new to the channel, welcome. I try to make this like a really fun environment for people to engage. Hopefully we can make a great community out of it. And honestly, I think we're gonna go full throttle and see where it takes us. Well, I probably will do some political interviews in the future, and just to give everybody a heads up on political stuff, my views lean right, but that doesn't mean if you're a liberal or a left-leaning independent or whomever that you're an idiot. I respect a lot of people who are on that side. I have a lot of friends in life who are still liberals or on the left, and there are some great things that we can probably talk about. I want to eventually get into like talking to people about what we can do together to make the world a better place for all of us. But that, like, when we start labeling each other like that, I think that's when like things kind of go awry. It's counterproductive. What we should be doing is what's the best for ourselves now and what's best for our children, honestly. The politicians who have been in there for dozens of years, who do nothing, probably don't deserve to be politicians. That's why I'm all for term limits and stuff. But at the end of the day, common Americans aren't so uncommon in like how we think about things. I would love to work to sow that divide a bit. I try to avoid like calling people idiots, you know. I think the one thing I like to make clear is I also think I'm an idiot. Like there's this proverb I learned when I was like 22, and it said, do not call someone a fool because you're just as much of a fool. We all do foolish things in life, and yeah, are we going to call someone stupid from time to time? Yeah, of course. But you also have to come back and say, okay, well, I've done some stupid things too in my life. A lot of stupid things. Elon Musk, or Bill Gates, or what's his name, um, Jeff Bezos, billionaires, maybe pretty intelligent in many different ways, have done stupid things. Now, evil things, that's where I kind of draw the line. That's where I will call you out. I think I kind of conflate evil with stupidity sometimes, though.
But I shall show you a still more excellent way. If I speak in human and angelic tongues, but do not have love, I am a resounding gong or a clashing cymbal. And if I have the gift of prophecy and comprehend mysteries and all knowledge, if I have all faith so as to
Rome, if you're still here, though, what do you use? Adobe? Adobe Premiere, I'm assuming?
if I give away everything I own, and if
I use, I've been actually transitioning to DaVinci Resolve, and I absolutely love this thing.
but I do not have love,
I started with Final Cut Pro, and I'm pretty proficient at Final Cut Pro, but
it
with
bears
DaVinci Resolve, there's, I don't know,
hopes all things,
it feels more sophisticated than Final Cut Pro.
the word of the Lord.
The way that God relates to us in the scriptures, he's a shepherd and we're the sheep. He's the king and we're the subjects. But
All right, so this is where I had to like work on
way through scripture is
trimming.
a wedding, bride and groom. The Bible
Oh, actually, no. My original thought was keep as much as possible. My project's only supposed to be 30 minutes long, so I'm gonna keep as much as possible, and then at the very end we'll start trimming. It's counterproductive to trim now
God do in Genesis,
rather than just work on it later.
right? What does God do in Genesis? Is anybody in here Catholic? Anybody here Baptist? Oh, okay. He creates. Two people raise their hand. That's awesome. God creates. Genesis literally means beginning. This is a new beginning. I grew up. I had to watch rom-coms.
I'll say comparably to the wedding I did before, this one. This one's a little bit more challenging because Catholic weddings are so drawn out. There's so much to them. Not to say they are boring. It's just a lot. So you have to find what is the most impactful part of that whole day. And my policy when it comes to weddings is I'm there for the whole day. I start out with 10 hours, and my rates are pretty cheap at the moment. They're going to go up. And then for every extra hour, it's like an extra like amount of overtime that I charge. But I do that all up front.
And your mission is love. It's the only mission any of us have. So you go out shoulder to shoulder. God creates in the book of Genesis, okay? What's he create, guys? Everything, doesn't he? Did you hear everything? Listen, he creates everything. Let me just say this. I grew up, I had a huge conversion in college, so I didn't grow up in youth group and that kind of thing. I grew up thinking God was boring and burdensome. Right? But imagine that. Imagine looking at the Sistine Chapel and not wondering about Michelangelo and who that man was. Imagine, we look at the Grand Canyon, right? We look at the Rocky Mountains. There's nothing more interesting than a human being. Like, if creation is this stunning and beautiful and glorious, how much more the Creator? Amen? Amen? How much more the Creator? It's like if there's a painting, there's a painter. If there's a sculpture, there's a sculptor. And if there's creation, then there's a creator. And if his creator is so extraordinary, how much greater is the one who created? So there's all these amazing things.
All right.
It's like if there's a painting, there's a
So basically, what I'm doing now is, like, obviously I got a working bus. So what I'm trying to do is snip out the shots that I can use as as an overlay while they're talking.
I got you going for a run. Here's where we get to the wedding, okay, to the marriage, and stay with me, okay?
Like that's a good shot right there.
Is Adam. Okay? Closer at this wedding is Eve. That's why these are wedding at the wedding. This is the first wedding and their first wedding. Right? Checking, make sure we do this. God creates Adam. It's Genesis 1, chapter verse 27. He creates Adam. Adam's a Hebrew name. It means Hadam.
Just gonna turn off dynamic zoom on that.
And things are going good. Like before you met her, life was pretty good. You were like 6, you know. But like even with you know, it's like now of course he's a good guy. Like the wonderful guy, things are going well. And Adam before Eve, like it was good.
I love him. I can't remember what his name is. Father. Is it Father Nick? I can't remember. But this is the first wedding I did with him. I have another wedding that I have to do like that has him as well. But he's a great guy. Oh man. Not that this isn't interesting, it's just like whenever you watch this over and over and over again, that's when it turns like into ad nauseum. You just can't stay awake or focused. You're just
God put Abraham in the torpor and he did something amazing. God put Isaac in the
But I kind of have to watch this through
he made him the father of many nations. God put Jacob in
just to see if there's any like fun things he's saying like that I can really emphasize on.
the torpor is amazing things. And so he puts Adam's seed, a torpor seed. And the fathers of the church, when I commented on the scripture, said that Adam, as he was sleeping, was actually dreaming of Eve. When he wakes up. Eve has come from the rib, that is the heart, the bone that's closest to the
All right, we're getting to the end of this clip, so
fashion.
then we are on to sermon number 3.
And Adam wakes up. And God brings Eve to Adam. So God, like, you know, I was just asking about his heaven. Like, this isn't coincidence. And I know it's like, both broken out, so went to school together, I get it. But like, and guys, I don't say this just because it's romantic to say it's true. When God was creating Carson, he was thinking of Tammy. When God was creating him, he was thinking of Carson. Like God was not surprised when you guys met in the hallway. God brings Eve, that is Carson, to Adam. Don't you love Adam's response? Adam sees Eve, and every woman has a right to be gazed upon with this kind of love. That's why lust is so evil, because it reduces the woman
Mm-hmm.
to sexual attributes toward men.
It's true. I mean that's definitely true. Like a lot of people
Adam sees
have. I think we all have our own demons to work with, and that's another cool thing about doing weddings is like we kind of like as an editor you come back and it's like your own little personal church. He's talking about like flesh of the flesh and lust. I have that problem. I have a lot of problems when it comes to like
Aaron was thinking in his heart,
looking at women, and it's like the women are not just an object for our pleasure. You know, a woman is there to care for our children and for our children's future, and for us, and that has to be an equal agreement. Like, we're supposed to care for them too. Um, Simp culture really has ruined a lot of what it's supposed to be, what relationships are supposed to be, sadly. All right, let's go through here. So I'll use that shot as an overlay for something. By the way, if you guys have any friends who are in the area, who would like to talk to me about like future projects and stuff, feel free to send them my way. I'll do what I can. I think business is going to start picking up drastically, and I would love to get some projects solidified into the schedule before more before others like start taking advantage of it. But let's see. This one's pretty short. There we go. I wish I wasn't shaking. Yeah, marriage is hard. Why do you think, like, I think 50 or 60% of our country has like a 60% divorce rate? How terrible is that? And just think, it's a hard thing to concept. I should get a chest rig. I mean, I do. My rig is pretty good. I just wish I had a proper sound person. I think that would help the best. Sound rigs cost a decent amount of money. Rome, I wonder if you have a sound rig, actually. I'll have to look into that. But this stuff ain't cheap. It ain't cheap, Shane. it costs so much money.
He says, love one another as I love you.
Yes.
How did Jesus love us? You're in a perfect position to see. Like, that's how Christ loved us. And guys, it wasn't cold when he was crucified. He was naked. He was tortured. He was really bloody.
That was a waste of a shot. I should have just like stayed where I was at. He has a microphone on. I should have been aware of this. And I should have hooked up my audio receiver to it. Granted, this is the first year that I've actually used my audio receiver pretty regularly.
It's really hard. And it's really hard to do what Jesus said in our gospel. Here's what he said. And everybody gets this because it's romantic. It says love a lot.
Of course. This is the problem, though. I have about $8,000 worth of credit card debt right now from quote-unquote investments. So I need to get the investments paid off before I actually start investing in other things. But it's a kind of like a balancing act.
He says, love one another as I love you. How did Jesus love us? He says, love one another as I love you.
And that's a great lesson, from a Christian point of view. We tend to forget what defines love, in a sense. And of course, love is, everybody points out, 1 Corinthians, I think 14 or something. and love is kind, love is patient, love is this, love is that. I think from a certain degree, love is ultimately sacrificing something for nothing. For so, love is some. Oh man, I love that. That actually almost makes me want to tear up a bit just saying that. Love is something that you give and you don't necessarily expect something in return. And of course, would it feel nice to have some reciprocity? I always have a problem with that word. Reciprocity with that love, of course. But to truly love something means you don't expect anything in return for what you're sacrificing into it. That's what Jesus did. He sacrificed his life for us. That's just from a Christian point of view. I don't know who in here isn't Christian and whatnot, but that's just from that particular point of view how we look at love, or at least what we're supposed to look at love objectively as.
And it's really hard to do what Jesus did.
All right, so now we're at the ceremony. The end of the ceremony. For a family member, I agree, but a wife, eh. Well, when it comes to a wife, it's a contract, basically. It's a two-way street. Like, but at the end of the day, whenever you make your vows, what's the most common thing in a vow is I will love you till death do us part, through sickness and in health, all that stuff. So that means you are sacrificing your life, time, and energy for someone that isn't you. And the same has to apply to your wife as well. She has to have that same amount of devotion. I think people think I'm in a relationship, so I demand that you give me something. And it's understandable to feel that way. And it's so easy to simply say what I'm saying and just call it that, like to oversimplify it, as I'm saying. But at the end of the day, if both of you have those principles, if you wake up every day with that mindset, I don't think there's really a way you can fail. You know, you're driving your life through godliness rather than through your own interpretation of things. Well, not interpretation. I would say your own reasoning. Like you're going through godly reasoning rather than through your own reasoning. This is like an important bit.
And declare your consent before God and his church.
I'll have to clean up some of the audio too whenever I'm done. And I'll have to also... Oh, that's a good dolly. I should have kept their mics on because they're just talking so quietly. Let me see what it sounds like if I boost their... Oh, I can't do that here. I'll have to wait. Yeah, it's so soft. They're speaking so softly. As long as you are able to care for and love yourself while caring for others, I see no issue with give and take. But when the give starts to become more than what you're taking, that's not healthy. Yeah. But that again, what I have to reiterate is it's not about one person more than the other. It has to be like an equal bond. You know, and that in principle on paper that's ideal. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not exactly. But we're human beings. We're always going to have those problems. We're always going to have an imbalance of how we approach our relationships. We're going to have our ups. We're going to have our downs. When we start seeing those issues, we have to like humble ourselves and think. We have to remind ourselves why we fell in love with that person to begin with. And I think the one issue that happens that's pretty common is we get in these situations in our relationships where we start pointing fingers instead of figuring out things on an inner level. We start blaming others on an outer level, and I don't think that's healthy. And another thing is too, how many people will go to their friends, like how many wives go to their friends, how many husbands go to their friends, and they say, man, I can't stand my wife, I can't stand my husband because of this, because of that. And then their friends will be like, well, you should just get, like, she sounds terrible, you should just get rid of her. And instead of dealing with those struggles like from an, I want to say, objective point of view, and this goes for both people, it's going for both parties, it's not just the husband's fault, it's not just the wife's fault. Both people have to have that mature mindset and say, what can I do to make this better? And if things can't get better, maybe something has to be done. That's their decision. But you still, I mean, people, if you're in a relationship, yeah, maturity is huge. That's why I can't, like, Leonardo DiCaprio, for example. The guy dates like 18-year-olds. And it's not because he looks at these 18-year-olds and says, "Oh yeah, she's a mature woman. This woman is everything I wanted in life." No, he's doing it because he just loves that, you know. He loves that youthful booty, you know? He just he can't get enough of it. And it really, if you really break it down, I think it's a fair assumption to say Leonardo DiCaprio is a pretty sad man. Like, and I'm not saying that to defame him. I'm saying, like, as an analysis, it's probably pretty fair to say that he is internally fighting some major battles. And I actually feel sorry for the man, to say the least, because there's something there has to be something else going on there. He's not looking for love, he's looking for a short-lived satisfaction. And I don't know, that's just my analysis. I could be completely wrong. Maybe he's completely okay. But I just don't think there's anything wholesome there. I'll have to find where the second shot, the overview shot. How does the camera angle look today, Shane? Maybe I can lower the headspace a little bit, but yeah, I'll do that. I'll tilt it down just a bit. There we go. But I think the camera, like I added a little bit more buffer to my sides because I noticed sometimes when I was streaming yesterday, I was like over here too much, or I was over here too much. Like this kind of gives me a little bit more wiggle room. Angle looks good. Cool. This is like one of my favorite people in the world, Josh. What's up, Kian? Good to see you, buddy. Back at it again. What is Humo Day? Hump Day. You mean Hump Day? What the hell is Humo Day? Is that what I... Hump Day. Hump Day means it's basically Wednesday. So if you work a nine, like in the business world, Monday through Friday, Wednesday is the middle of the week. So think of Wednesday as your hump, and then everything is sloping down after Wednesday. That's why it's called Hump Day. It's not because you're humping anything. It's because it's symbolizing a hump. But there's no humping on Hump Day either. Okay, there's no time for humping. Humping is later. Be quiet, Shane. Yeah, it's all good. All right, well, it is? No. Don't listen to him. Be quiet. That sounds like a quick way to get arrested. Don't hump whenever you please. That sounds like a terrible idea. Like, I'm pretty sure there's a list of things. Yeah, but it has to be consensual in like in a private space. It can't just be consensual in like the middle of public. Like Crank. Have you ever watched that movie? It's like from 2008 or 2007. Alex and I used to watch that movie all the time. And there's a scene where they just start doing it in the middle of public. It's like, don't do that. You can't do that. That's not ethical. Some things shouldn't need to be said, you know? You literally said you hump whatever you please. That's a false statement. You can't do that. Dark Knight. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do some abbreviating. But how's your day going so far, Kian? Anything fun and productive going? I feel like this is my third day doing this, and I feel confident in saying I might just keep doing this for as long as I can. It's like when you sign a contract without reading the whole thing, you just assume. You just assume you can hump whenever you want. That's when you go to that's when you get that's like just an excuse to get arrested, and then you have to explain to the judge, "Hey, I didn't read the whole contract. I didn't see that clause in the contract where it said I'm not allowed to hump whenever I can't whenever I please. As long as the underlying requirements are met." You're just talking nonsense now, man. You're not even making any sense now. That's so funny. All right. I need to throw this whole chunk. What the heck? All right. So what's funny is, if I keep the whole ceremony in, you're welcome, man. You're welcome. The weather's starting to get warmer too, so I'm happy. And I think I have like quite an audience going on in the stream right now. I think this is like the largest audience I've had in a while. So again, welcome to the stream, everybody. I'm happy to be here. What we're aiming to achieve is just, a chill session. So if you guys have anything fun to say, if you relate to any of the content, feel free to chime in. I always love meeting new people. Did some shopping and made some food that I usually don't. What did you make? Did you make anything good? I've been making a lot of things with with cabbage. So I know everybody's like, ew, cabbage. But dude, cabbage is like low key one of the best things that you can ever eat. I want to say it's full of antioxidants, but I think I'll be wrong if I say something like that. But there's a lot of like nutritious value in cabbage. I make there's this Polish dish. Here, I'll show you. I'll pause this real quick. It's called halushki. I can't remember how I spell it. Halushki. There it is. This is what halushki looks like. And dude, it is so good. It's like one of those foods that you could just eat forever and you're completely satisfied all the time. But it's eggs, cabbage, onion. You can throw bacon. I put kielbasa into mine, but oh dude, it's so good. It's delicious. It's like, but if you eat too much of it, there's so much carbs. There's like egg noodles, depending on the egg noodles you get, you want to try to avoid like the enriched stuff. But if you eat too much of this stuff, you're definitely going to gain a few pounds. I made like a whole bowl of it. Shakia cabbage. What the hell is shakia cabbage? I had to do a quick search. And I'm like, I don't know what that is. I should make an avatar, like an avatar, the last Airbender emoji or GIF, and it's just a guy that says my cabbages. I'll put that on the list. I also, like, you guys will also notice that if you press follow or subscribe to the channel, there's this guy that he's like a good friend of mine. He actually pops into the chat every now and again, but I'm doing my part in trying to make him a meme. His name is Chuck. Let me see if I can pull him up real quick. But anyway, Chuck is like known for making videos like this, and it's like the funniest stuff ever. Hold on. So it's not about that there's a joke or anything like lying in the video. It's just the fact that he has this whole spiel that something is going wrong in his day, but he doesn't emphasize what that is. So you just hear this, and then he's like, well, hopefully tomorrow's a better day. You know, like, well, you got the message right, but we're still concerned as to what went wrong in your day. Ooh, hold on. There's another Chuck video I want to share. I'm gonna go down this rabbit hole. This is a good one.
I am home alone. You dudes know what that means. Two words. Friggin' house party.
I love that so much. These videos, I've had these videos for years, and I never get tired of them. I never get tired of those videos. It could be 20 years from now, I will still laugh my ass off watching those videos. So yeah, if you ever press the subscribe button, here, let me show you what happens. And by no means do you have to subscribe. Although it would be nice if you did. But if you did subscribe, this is what it would look like. I think these are pretty... I think I got this set up pretty well. So this is for a new subscriber. Hopefully it goes through. It doesn't give you an option to subscribe. Well, it's probably because I'm not affiliated just yet. Once I get affiliated, I'm sure that will be a thing. Man, is this not working? Why is that not working? Layout. Well, that's weird. It's supposed to like pull up a video. Maybe it's loading. But you guys probably heard it. That's all that matters. Oh, there it is. There it is. I just saw it on the... That's what happens whenever you resubscribe. If you have a Prime subscription, it's the same thing. Except it has Jeff Bezos on the side. So that's pretty cool. And then if I get any followers, this is what pops up. So Chuck is basic, like, I don't want to say he's a mascot, but he's like he's a good ambassador to my channel. And this is just me saying I love Chuck. I am completely a Chuck fan. If he can be famous one day, it'd be great. Why is a YouTube video playing in the corner? So that's just like to keep me occupied. Like that's what I'm watching on the side. But that's this is what do you call it? Half in a bag. So if I'm in the middle of a stream and I notice that they're talking about like a movie that I haven't watched, Half in a Bag is such a great like show to watch. So that way, if I'm watching something and if it's pretty interesting, I'll be like, hey guys, check this out real quick. This is pretty cool. That's pretty funny. But right now, I'm not really paying attention to it. It's kind of just there to be there. I'm also testing it out too. Like I've been trying so hard to do picture-in-picture. I think it's a pretty solid idea, to say the least.
We're going to now have our intercessions, our petitions. Everyone can please stand.
All right. So what's funny is if this is my end right here. If I just kept the ceremony as is, okay, I didn't trim up anything, I would be 2 minutes away from finishing this video. But this, all this down here, and all this still hasn't been used for footage. So there's going to be a lot of trimming I'm going to have to do. I'm going to take a quick 2-minute break, guys. I just need to go to the bathroom. So I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Did it actually not? Okay, yeah, I didn't go on the commercial break because I didn't press the button. Sorry for keeping you guys with an empty seat. I was gonna ask you something, Rome. I forgot. I think it was like, oh, do you do most of your editing yourself, or do you does your team kind of disperse the work with the editing front? I think that's the biggest thing I wanted to ask you. All right, so let's get this other video down here. This is like the second camera. I want to make sure that this is on here. How long is this? This is a long, that's a long clip because it's just a camera by itself. It's not like disable this real quick. Actually, just disable the track. That way I don't forget. So where it ends, exactly. Yeah, they do. Oh my God, look how much stuff that they go through. That's the end right there. And then they go back, they take pictures. So we can safely say that we can end it like right here. Yeah, if I were to use every single, this is why I give my clients an option to keep their raw footage, because there's so much of the ceremony that I can't put into the main video. It's just not practical. That they can have the raw footage and watch all of this on their own. That's the videography part of it. What I focus on is like the cinematography and the editing. With whatever cinematography there is available. If that makes sense. Okay, I feel like I'm gonna do a quick revisit and watch what I have so far. So, I think I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna put a note for potential emojis. Here, we'll do this right now. Potential, and if you guys have any other emojis you want me to try to make, I'll work on it. But I'm not making any promises. I'm sure it's not that difficult to make these emojis, but it's just like more time I have to put aside to make them. So potential emojis, we got cabbage cart. I did garbage cart. Is cabbage with two B's or one? It's not cabbage. Yeah, it's cabbage chain. What the heck? Cabbage cart, cabbage corp, and cabbage guy. In other words, my cabbages. Have any of you watched the live action Avatar? I heard it was okay. I don't think I heard anything was terrible about it, but I heard it was okay. Yeah, I heard the new Netflix one wasn't bad. The one from whenever I was like in high school, yeah, I heard that one was an absolute train wreck. It's like the live action Dragon Ball Z movie that they tried making back in the day. It's like, dude, what the hell is this? Ooh. I'm starting to realize that pumpkin seeds are like super awesome to munch on. Dude, the Stitch movie. Lilo and Stitch is like one of my favorite Disney films too. Disney cartoons. I pray to God they don't botch it. But Disney is slowly, well, no, it's not even slowly at this point. They are rapidly declining. And it kills me because when we were kids, like, Disney was where it was at, man. I watched the Lilo and Stitch cartoon TV show a lot. That was fun.
She's getting closer, I can hear.
I forgot about that show, actually. Another one I watched, it was Kids WB. When we were kids, like when I was like in second grade, I was like 8. I would wake up every Saturday morning. Like, this was, as a kid, on the weekend, I always wanted to sleep in. But I would wake up at 8 in the morning, and I would watch Yu-Gi-Oh!, Jackie Chan Adventures. What else? And Pokemon. Every single day. Well, every single Saturday. I think back then, Kids WB was like goated. I haven't watched, like, is there a trailer out for the Lilo and Stitch live action, actually? Because I haven't watched it. Let me see. Lilo and Stitch trailer. Ah, okay. Oh, I didn't even realize it was like 3 months ago. Wow. This is 30 seconds. All right, we'll watch it together. Let's see. Is that the original voice actor too? Aw, dude. It doesn't look bad though. Oh, there's not much to it other than...
Hey guys, a live action.
Oh, go away. I don't need to be hearing your AI bullcrap voice. But that does look... I mean, just from the few seconds, the quality of the model looks really good. I love how... Look at his eyes. That's so funny. That's actually really adorable. What is that? Green eyes? Would you say that those eyes are green? But you could actually see his like pupils and stuff. Hold on one second. I want to go on IMDb. I love how they did the classic over the water drone shot. That reminds me, actually, I'll show you guys like a video I did like 6 years ago. This is probably one of the best videos I've ever made, but I did the same exact thing. I had my drone and I did one of these over the water shots. It's better if I do it in full screen. Make sure this is up. Okay, it's all the way up. The over the water shot, the over the water shot with the tilt up is such a trope, you know. It's such a constant a shot done in filmmaking. It's so funny. A gaming video editor. I was thinking about start streaming while I'm working. Is there any marketing benefit? Dude, absolutely. Absolutely there's a marketing benefit. Like, I've only started like doing this full time just recently, but if you're outgoing, you can't shut up like me, and you just have great ideas behind your business. I think it can really help you find like-minded individuals and just stay motivated. I think that's the biggest thing when it comes to our industry. It's so easy to be discouraged and think I'm not. I had this problem. I still continue to have this problem. But it's so easy to compare yourself to other people in a creative industry like filmmaking or video editing. Me too. That's why I pause a lot. But the work gets done. The work, like, let me tell you something. How often, or I'll ask you something first, and then I'll tell you what I've been learning. Is over these past few months, I haven't had. I've been exhausted with my old job. I would come home from bartending or busing, and I would feel utterly exhausted, and I wouldn't even edit. But as soon as I started doing this, even though I'm pausing and taking breaks in between chatting with you guys, I'm still getting work done. Let me tell you, at the beginning of the week, this project was down to here. This is where I was with this project. I didn't have anything past this. 1 minute and 47 seconds. In 2 days, I managed to get like up to here, technically. This is like the 20-minute range. So I will tell you, you have to do what works best for you, obviously, to be more efficient. You have to realize, hey, am I talking too much? Maybe. But I think at the end of the day, making these connections is equally as important. Meeting, like, Rome and I just connected today. I just connected with you today. But it's an investment in the community. And when I hate the word community because it's implying like the general and public to a degree. But maybe I think the word I should be saying is niche, to your niche. Because we are in a niche. Not everybody in the world knows how to video edit. But whenever you're working or talking with like-minded individuals, you're going to be inspired to keep doing what you do. So don't be afraid to just take a break and just talk, honestly. And as long as you have the setup and stuff, all I will say is it's probably it's definitely a fun way to stay engaged, and it keeps you focused. You know, it keeps you at your desk. Yeah, of course. Of course, man. If you start streaming too, let me know because I would love to see how your content goes. I've been probably streaming like irregularly for the past 2.5 years, maybe more. Um, but it was a learning process. Like just didn't happen overnight. I was talking to my buddy yesterday about how he wants to set up streaming, and I said, it's what you put into it. It's not it's you can put the bare amount of effort into it. It's probably not going to grow as well as you would like to imagine. It's almost like video editing or your video business. You can be really good at what you do, but if you do it inconsistently, it's not going to be. I'm just putting it plainly. If you don't do it consistently, you're probably not going to get too far with doing it. It's like me. I've been writing a book or trying to write a book since I was 8. But have I finished writing the book? No. Do I want to finish writing the book? Yes. But does that make me a writer? No. Not until I finish that book. I will not classify myself as a writer. It's actually a disservice to people who actually finish writing books. But that's the thing. Like, what you put in to it is what you get. And I think just these past few days alone, just making this more like of a full-time thing, I've probably put like 8 hours a day for the past 4 days into streaming, and it's great. So yeah, take whatever you can get out of all those words I said and make the best out of it, man. I wish you well. I wish the most success out of it. And like I said, just let me know how it goes. I can't promise I'll respond, but if you need help with anything, send me a whisper or a message. I'll try my best to get back to you, but I truly hope things work out. I take a lot of tutorials and working a lot on a daily basis. I have 2 friends who help me. I do that full time, and I want to be the best in my craft, but low paid clients just doesn't allow you to learn more or get the good equipment. Yeah, I can relate. I can relate to that. I started when I knew what I wanted to be when I was like 12. I knew I wanted to be a storyteller, and that evolved into filmmaking. And I've been learning about film since I was 12. Like, first documentaries, I could even show you what documentaries I used to watch when I was a kid. But Star Wars, Empire of, I think, Dreams. This 2-hour documentary was the first documentary I watched as a kid when it came to filmmaking. This inspired me to be the person I am today. At least one of them. Sure, I think honestly, I think it would be great if I revamped my Discord and we can make like a quick, hey, what can we do to, what can we do to improve each other? Magnets Media? No, I don't think I've ever watched them. Let me check. Maybe. I mean, I browse a lot on YouTube. Magnates Media. Okay. YouTube is a game. These are the cheat codes. Most illegal business in the world. Silk Road. Yeah, there are a lot of yeah, this is a really good documentary, man. It's the one thing that George Lucas has done, and this is what I love about the man, like regardless if he sold Disney for $4 billion. I think that's the amount. Regardless of that god awful decision, I still love this man. This man defined a lot of our childhood, just because he basically inspired a whole generation of people, maybe multiple generations of people, to be like, what you can do is no longer confined in this realm of possibility. It's now bigger. Anything is on the table. Without George Lucas, we probably wouldn't have like Adobe. We wouldn't have Industrial Light and Magic. We wouldn't have the visual. We probably could have worked our way up there, but he definitely was like the trailblazer of this stuff. And whenever I was a kid, I'm thinking, wow, I can make anything from my imagination and make it a reality onto the screen. And now with the new technology, with how video games are going, how 3D what do you call it, VR games are working, the sky is hardly the limit. I think the problem that you can run in, though, from a consumer point of view, is using it as an escape. Like, you don't want to make this like a, you don't want to be too dependent on fiction, is what I'm trying to say. You should appreciate the fiction, but you shouldn't be engulfed by it. Like we shouldn't be thinking of what's the phrase? Delusions of grandeur. I think a lot of us in the world go through that. Like, we get this impersonator syndrome, and we think we can do something that can be seen as altruistic or amazing, but in reality it just isn't. Like, it's not conducive or productive. Some people prefer to have a good sleep over owning an empire. True. I prefer making an empire that is good for everyone. And, like, it's idealistic to think that way. It's impossible, to say the least, because there's always going to be someone that gets in the way, and that's why dictators rise up. And I was watching this video. It's like a psychological video. I think it's might be Healthy Gamer GG, but it might be another one. I watch a lot of psychology videos. I love psychology. It helps me understand people pretty well too. But there's this one observation. Right. I can. Where are you from, by the way? I love meeting people from around the world. But one observation I have noticed is a lot of people, and by the way, this is actually a theme in the book I'm writing. But the people who go and want to, like, who are in power, sometimes they think what they're doing is for the good of the world, when in fact it's actually destroying so many lives. I don't know exactly what that is, but they truly think with the utmost conviction that what they're doing is right, even though you can see from, like, the mass of people who are against you, that it's wrong. That's objectively wrong. Like, I hate bringing up Hitler, because Hitler is like, just opens up a whole can of worms. But I think from Hitler's perspective, wiping out all those people during the Holocaust, he was probably thinking that there was a good rationale to do that, you know. And he, hold on a sec, I have to make sure this isn't a fire call. Yeah, I'm trying to be very careful. But he was probably thinking there was a good reason why they needed to be wiped out. And I'm not justifying him by no means, but from his point of view, that's what he was thinking. Is like, I'm doing this for the greater good because of this. It's a false equivalency, but at the end of the day, you're killing millions of innocent people for absolutely barbaric reasons. That's what I'm trying to say. I hope that makes sense. I hope you don't think I'm trying to excuse Hitler for any reason, because I'm not. But all I'm trying to say is there are people who are in power who truly think what they're doing is the right. They don't wake up out of bed and think, I'm going to do evil things because I'm evil. They're doing things because they think this is what's best for society. Like the Emperor in Star Wars. But he's kind of the Emperor in Star Wars is like the most extreme. I truly think the Emperor woke up every day and said, what can I do that is like the most evil thing, you know? But I think I've read in the Star Wars lore that the Emperor actually did these terrible things because he was protecting the galaxy from greater threats, and that's what it was leading to in that's what it was supposed to be in the later trilogies that Disney hijacked, like with the wills and all that stuff. Star Wars lore is actually beautiful if you just follow the original lore, but with this new stuff that Disney has, it kills me how much they just retconned and what's a good word? Changed. I guess I just have to say changed. Changed the whole meaning of Star Wars. At least he was challenging weak and strong countries, but the kind of dictators now, they only show muscle on weak and civilians. Right. A lot of dictators are self-serving. You know, not everybody follows that general rule. I'm doing this because it's the best for society. You know, that not everybody has those delusions of grandeur. But a lot of those dictators do what they do because it's power. You know, it's simply that. Like, they just love having that control over things. It's like the classic power dynamic between the poor and the rich, the weak and the strong. And these people aren't even strong. They're just opportunistic a-holes. And I think that's why it pays to invest in your intelligence. You know, I think in ways now, like a role-playing game. I think we're all playing a role-playing game at the end of the day. But sometimes you could feel when you level up, you know, in a certain skill. Especially like when I was bartending, I kind of observed myself, and I was making drinks at first. I was terrible at it. I messed up so many espresso martinis. But then I did something successfully, and I would think to myself, hey, I just leveled up. But what I'm trying to say here is be aware. Be aware of your skills. Be aware of your intelligence. Constantly be aware of that stuff. And you can have such a sharp edge against those kind of challenges, like against government tyranny and just tyranny in general. Like the bosses I had to deal with. I made the decision to leave the business I was at because they had a sewage backup, and they were risking not only employees but people who were also eating at that establishment. I said, I can't do this anymore. Like, I can't sit here and see this restaurant continue running its business and pretend not and tell and not even tell people what's going on. If you owned a business, okay, a restaurant, and you had a sewage backup in both the bathrooms, what do you think your guests would do if you told them, hey, we have a sewage backup, but we're going to still keep the place up and running? Your guests are going to leave. But guess what they didn't do? They didn't tell any of the guests that we were still serving them food. We were still serving them food when the head chef was in the woman's bathroom whenever I came in trying to clean up the poop that was coming out of the drains. And then he went back into the kitchen and made some more food. I'm sure he washed his hands. But dude, you still kept the restaurant going on. So to go back, to get out of this weave I just created, trust your instincts. Trust what you know is right. And I believe that if you use the right, if you're very discerning and you're very tactful with your intelligence, with your emotions, and with your skills, you can never fail. You don't fail ultimately until you die, is another thing I say. You can fall down multiple times, multiple, so many times. But at the end of the day, if you're still alive, you can make an impact on this planet. And don't let anybody tell you otherwise. It confuses me a lot that old, weak guys can control millions of people and screw their future just with one word from his mouth. Hold on. Alright, that's a fire call, guys. I'm going to have to cut the stream. Let me just make sure. Let me see what it is. It sounds big. The more tones you hear in the background, the more fire companies are going to have to respond. Hold on a minute. I'm just seeing what this is. It sounds like a big fire call. I don't know yet. Just checking. I probably won't be back on either because I have to go to the fire academy right after this. What is going on? Like, why is... Where am I at? I'm in Pennsylvania in the U.S. Dude, I didn't... There aren't any details. Okay. Alright, I have to go. Alright, I'll see you guys. I'll probably be on later tonight, but good conversation. Thank you for the follows, guys, and we'll see you shortly. It's a fire alarm. Alright, I'll be back.